Hey, my name is Kirtis Quincy, and I'm here to tell you how my mental health has been since being diagnosed with Dress syndrome, alopecia, and vitiligo back in 2017. So, the year is 2017. I go to the dermatologist because I have ingrown hairs. I'm just really starting to get hair in my face, like heavily, and it was just, I guess it was a lot going on. Like I had chin hair and a mustache and stuff, but the hair that was growing in, the face and the cheeks and the beard and stuff, that's what was leaving like the real big ingrown hairs on my face, right? So I go to the dermatologist, and kid you not, guys, if you feel something weird in your gut, go with your gut. Just go with your gut. So for the most part, I was in the waiting room longer than I was in the doctor's office, and I think that should have been my real clue sign. But anyway, so I proceeded on with the appointment. I went and filled the prescription, told my mom how I felt, and I still took the medicine. But that's neither here nor there because here we are now, right? So I took the medicine. I took it for about a little less than a month. So going into June, that's when I noticed that feeling weird. So I live in Louisiana. Hot, humid. There's no need for a jacket, a hoodie, or anything like that. And I'm just freezing, like chills. Like I'm sleeping with the heater, right? The heater on in the house. None of that made sense. So every day from then, once I stopped taking the medicine, because I took myself off of it, I went back to the dermatologist, and of course, he says the same thing, stop taking it. Duh. It was the only thing that I was taking at the time, so it made a real easy transition to kind of figure out what is going on with me. And I'm not a sickly person, so I'm not taking all type of medicines to combat this or fix that or anything like that at that time. So from there, I was rushed to the hospital the weekend of Father's Day in June. And I was just mentally all over the place, thinking I was going to die. Because you stop taking the medicine, so you automatically think, hey, I'm going to, it's not coming, you're not putting it in your body anymore, so your body's fighting it off. And I just didn't know how strong the medicine was. It had a hold on me. And it would not let me loose. It had a hold on me like bad, right? And my mom, thankfully, she was here. She got me to the hospital. I remember the doctor saying had I not got there within maybe the next 6 to 12 hours, I probably wouldn't have been here to tell this story to let you know how I survived my ordeal. He was telling me that my organs were slowly starting to shut down. The medicine was like literally eating it was causing chaos in my body from the inside out. I was literally fighting, like my body was fighting itself. And I just kind of remember how that felt. And it was just like such an awkward, misplaced feeling. Because you're trying to do everything on the outside man, my skin was in scales. It was shedding. It was just so much going on, man. My hair was thinning. My nails were buckling. It was so much going on. I was in pain just from walking, and I didn't even know why, right? Active, going to the gym. So it was like I didn't have any answers, and it was making it so difficult and mentally frustrating because you go and you take these tests, and it takes maybe 2 days to a week to even get, oh, you're having a reaction. I think it was the first one because they had to do a biopsy on my arm at first, and then I had another one done on my head. Then I think another one done on the back of my arm, and just to come back and say that it's a reaction. Like it's not giving me a name for something. It's just a reaction. So the mental frustration that I was feeling was just too much. It was just too much. By this time, I had been drinking heavily, at least a pint a day of some type of liquor. Um, every day. As soon as I got off work, on my way home, I was grabbing something from the liquor store. It got to the point that even going to the appointments was just a mental toll. I just remember going to, and this happened a few times. I remember going to the appointments and I'd be driving and it's just bone quiet in the car because I'm trying to think, right? But nothing's on my mind. But the next thing I know, that is just a tear falling down my face. Like, not even a tear, like I'm sobbing, right? And I had no answers, bro. Like, I had no answers to nothing that was going on. And it just, the thoughts that I thought, the things that I felt that I needed to do to myself just to kind of rid myself of the pain that I was in. And I hate to say that because I could take a lot of pain, but it's not something that you want to boast or brag about because that ain't no kind of pain that you don't want nobody to experience. Physically, my body was on fire. I mean, it wasn't enough hands that could scratch or relieve or anything that I needed at any given time, because as soon as you would relieve one itch, it's another one over here. It's a burning right there. Your skin falling. I thought I had leprosy, man. Like, I really did. And mentally, it's like nobody could tell me nothing because nobody had an answer. So it's like my thoughts were valid, you know? Like, what else? Who was going to tell me different? Because it's taking a dermatologist God knows how long to diagnose this, right? So, and this is only a month's time. So come July, I'm recommended to another dermatologist who would in turn start to make sense out of everything I was going through. So he finally told me that I had Dress syndrome, and this was in 2017, July 2017. So from there we started treatment. Hair was still thin, waxy. It's crazy because I haven't seen my barber in 5 years, and that was one of my really good friends. It's like the toll that it takes, because mentally, like, what am I going to do in a barbershop now? I have literally no hair. But anyway, so come September, I'm diagnosed with alopecia, and the crazy thing about that was that I was trying to hold on to the hair so much that I was wearing a ball cap, right? I was wearing like a dad baseball cap. Just kind of dressing up what I had to go to work and stuff like that, trying to make it feel more comfortable for me. And it just got to the point that the hair, man, it was just like, it was nothing here. And it's like I had the little crown around, right? And it just felt, and I always had like this fear of being bald, just like that. And I was like, oh. So one day I just kind of made the conscious decision, and I was just like, I just shaved it. And I was in the mirror. It was like just dramatic. It was like a movie scene for me, right? And I was just in my, and it's just like seeing the hair roll off of my head into the sink. It just killed me, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I sobbed. I cried because nobody wants to lose something that they don't have to lose, right? If you don't have to lose it, you're not going to lose it, especially if it's something on your body. Like, nobody wants to lose an arm if they don't have to, right? It's not going to grow back, right? Anything, an eye, a lip, a tooth. Nobody wants to lose something attached to them because, one, I've had that all my life. That's what I know. That's me. That's me. But it wasn't growing back. It wasn't doing anything. My eyebrows started to fall off first, and that's how I kind of knew. And then my hair just started to like grow, like the little pieces that was growing, it's like it'll grow out straight, like little dagger. It's the weirdest thing. I'm just mentally just trying to figure it out, right? And don't even have like an answer, a clue, an inkling, on how I'm gonna flip this around, because later on in that year, in November, I was diagnosed with vitiligo. So the timeline goes July, dress, September, alopecia, November, vitiligo. So all within the same year, 2 autoimmune diseases. I'm on these heavy immune suppressants. And I think what really kind of kept me somber a lot of times is I sing. So I sing to myself, right? And I've always been the person that my gift for me, because I know I can sing, so my gift for me is hearing my voice soothes me, right? So, because music is like a huge thing, and I promise you, throughout the whole thing, the only time I didn't listen to any kind of music is probably when I was heading to like a doctor's appointment and I was in the car. Like it'll be times that I'm driving quiet in the car and I didn't even know that I'm sobbing because I'm trying to think, and my mind is just so full of hurt and misery and pain and unanswered questions. Lost, like I'm confused. Yeah, man, that wasn't a fun time for me at all. Wow, that wasn't a fun time. I wouldn't wish that feeling on nobody. To be that lost in your own skin, your own body, that you don't know whether to keep going. You don't know whether to wake up. You don't know if you're going to wake up because you don't even know what your body's doing. It's like you're trying to sleep, but you up. Medicines they putting you on, it's like, it was a roller coaster from May 2017 up until April of 2018. I was fighting, and I fought. Fighting myself. Wanting to fight the doctor, but it's like he's the only person that's giving me a physical answer, up in front in my face. So it's like I can't, do nothing but accept what they're giving me. And I was seeing 3 doctors at one time. I was driving to New Orleans, to Baton Rouge, to my primary, back to the other dermatologist, back to New Orleans. So I was seeing a lot of doctors, man. It's like I had made up my own little team of physicians that I felt like I could trust, because, I go to one dermatologist, and so mentally I wasn't in a good space at all during that time. Thankfully, my faith in God, it grew stronger. My faith in myself grew stronger. My mom, MVP. My best friends, my older brother, Angel. I was really set up, man. I was really set up. I had a lot of great people with me, around me. As much as I want to give up, my brother told me he would shave his head for me, right? And I was just like, no, you ain't gotta do that. Just like, because I'm always a person that if I'm going through something, I'm a bear it by myself, right? And I don't want you to bear that. And he's just like, man, I'm gonna shave my head for you. And I was just like, no, you ain't gotta do it. It was. I'm most thankful to be here because of the tribe that I had around me. God really blessed me because those people don't know how they kept me afloat. They don't know how much they poured into me. They don't know what they done for me. Just to pick up the phone and say, hey, I know. And the fact that I like to laugh as much as I do and I can smile now, man, it was just like, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so heavy. It was so heavy, man. Like to sit in that space mentally of depression. And then you feel guilty because you're not giving answers to your family who love the hell out of you. And you can't give them answers because you don't know. I didn't know. I had no clue. I had no clue. So I had to really start to do the work of putting myself together. Once the medicine finally kicked in, I had to start doing the work of putting myself together and loving what I saw because this wasn't in the mirror at that time. I didn't start gaining this type of color till, damn near a year and a half later after that whole situation. So this didn't shine bright as it's shining right now. I had to learn what was in that mirror. I had to learn to love what was in that mirror in front of me. And I was so down on myself just off of the physical aspect, right? Because I was so mean to myself for what I saw, because I didn't know what the end result was going to be. And there's always a testament that just because you can't see it what it is right then and there doesn't mean it's not going to be the most beautiful thing in the end. And one of my friends told me, he's like, you're gonna be a fucking butterfly when this finished. I'm telling you now, you're gonna be a fucking butterfly. And I'm hearing that, but it's not clicking, and it's like, all right, then the fact that so many people was pouring so much positive into me, and I was just being so negative, man, because I was in so much pain. I was hurt. I was really, really hurt. I felt like I was stripped of me. I was stripped of myself. I was stripped of who exactly I knew I was at that moment, at that time, at that place in my life. And it was so much more to me than how I presented myself then or how I looked then. Because now I completely I don't give a fuck. I probably shouldn't curse, and I apologize. But it's like I need people to understand that when you do the work to better yourself mentally, this is how you come out on the other side. Like, I feel amazing. I truly feel amazing. I truly feel amazing, right? I love everything about me. It's like I had to find and do that work just to put myself back together. Like, really love what I saw. No matter what it was, I promise you. And that's the trick. No matter what it is you see, you have to love that, because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Once you see what it is, love what it is. And that's it. I mean, that's the best. And it sounds so, but that's it. Like, that's what I had to do, because I didn't see this. But once I saw me within that, like, I had to push past that physical and I had to look back within myself, which was crazy. It's like an out-of-body experience. And everything, again, because I was so emotional, I cried once I saw myself. I called so many people. And I said, I see me again. Like, I recognized myself. And it was the weirdest thing. I just kept saying, I see me. I recognize myself. I see me. I see me. And I felt like maybe a 7 or 8-year-old kid. It was just, I remember that day. I remember the time it happened. It's just, I had to just really hone in and focus on myself. And one thing that really helped me do that was, I love to smile. I love my smile. I love to see other people smile. So it's like, that's one thing that I kept with me is my smile. I mean, I get compliments on it all the time. So I think it's kind of like my superpower that kind of just helped me just kind of keep a reminder of who Kirtis was going through, right? Because I had lost a very big sense of who I was. A very big sense. And I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat any of that. I had really lost a very big part of me. So having to learn to love yourself after 3 diagnoses of 3 different ailments is, man, a testament. And I think if anything, the takeaway from this is, man, give yourself time. You have to give yourself time. I had to give myself time. Had I not given myself any of that time, like, I had to step away from everything, like social media, people that I felt that wasn't right for me. Like, you have to do the work for you. And once you do that work for you, everything else makes sense. Everything else makes sense. I promise you. It's like you come out in a new skin. It's just like, because the vitiligo didn't bother me. I think my biggest obstacle was the alopecia. I always had a fear of being bald, like I said earlier, because my dad was bald, and I was just like, oh man, you know. But it's like my biggest nightmare became like one of my biggest blessings. I mean, my skin is so smooth. It's just, you don't know the blessings that'll come once your storm has passed, right? And I think if everyone is just a little more kinder to themselves and really, really learn to love yourself, you gonna really like get it. You gonna really get it. Because I finally get it. And I think if I can get it, you can get it too. Because I mean, I love, man, I love the space that I'm in. I love the journey that I'm on. It's pushed me into modeling. It's pushed me into advocacy. It's just pushed me in so many so many different doors that's just been opening, and I can't be more thankful. You know what I'm saying? I can't stop smiling because it's for real. You know, it's not a forced smile. It's not, hey, smile for a picture. It's like I genuinely feel amazing about myself. So if the biggest takeaway for me from this, who gives up what somebody gotta say, man? You just have to do you. At the end of the day, whatever cards you're throwing, play them cards, man. You may have a full house. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, always remember to be you, love you,